I'm a room temp. This is actually a big topic within, like, with Justice. She always gets mad at me because she'll, like, be very kind and or, like, thoughtful and bring me a water, but it's, like, really cold. And this is no, it's for singers. Like, you're not supposed to drink like cold water like when you're singing. So, like, I'm like, she'll bring me water and be like, no, I'm okay, thanks.
Sure. Okay,
but I actually really want water.
Room temp. Do you prefer warm or room temp?
Room temp,
okay,
yeah.
Room temp, thank you.
Oh, thank you, sir.
There it is. Anything for the king.
He opened it for me, too. Yeah.
What's going on? This is the man, Andrew Berry. Andrew is the worship leader at our church, West Salem Foursquare Church.
Yeah.
And thanks for being here, man.
Dude, my pleasure. I think we've been trying to do this for, 3 or 4 weeks now?
Yeah. Just busy. You know how schedules be.
I do know how schedules be, for sure.
Andrew, we mentioned, married. Justice, you've been married for a little over a year now.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most memorable weddings.
Oh, my gosh.
I heard. It was memorable.
Yeah, you heard, for sure.
I did not.
You were in Texas golfing.
I got my priorities straight.
You know, I don't blame you, honestly.
You would have rather been in golfing. Justice, he doesn't mean that.
No, I don't mean that. I love you.
Andrew, when did we meet? Well, when did you move?
I moved here, I know it was the summer before my freshman year of high school, but I don't remember I think it was 2013.
Okay.
2013 or 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You moved here, and I knew your family because I knew your cousin.
Ashley, yeah.
Yep.
And Maddie.
Your parents asked for help to move you guys in out of a storage unit.
Oh, yeah.
House.
That was funny.
And you weren't there.
I wasn't even there. When I first moved here, I got plugged in, like, immediately with, like, the summer basketball team at my high school. And then I come back from a game or something, and I was going to help finish moving, but you guys were, like, basically already done.
Yeah, we were there.
And that was, like, my first interaction with you.
Was
it Craig that was with you?
It was Scott and Augustine.
Scott, yeah.
Yep. And so I think the fact that you didn't show up to help your own family move, that I think kind of it's a push, it's a wash that I didn't show up to your wedding. Like, we can call it even now.
You can wash it with me, but you're going to have to. Justice is too petty to.
Yeah. But actually, you brought up basketball because that's how I knew you. Yeah. All throughout high school and as a student in our youth ministry, like, you were there and you were involved, but you were also extremely involved in all of, like, you were playing football, basketball, and baseball?
I played baseball and basketball the first 3 years of high school, and then my senior year, I dropped baseball and picked up football my senior year. So I only played football my senior year, yeah.
So you played 2 sports a year, but flopped football
my senior year,
baseball.
yeah.
I didn't know that, okay.
Yeah.
And then one day, I think it was your senior year, somebody, I don't even remember who, if it was Josh or Anna, or who were our different worship leaders throughout the years of our youth ministry, they were like, hey, Andrew, and you were up singing, I think.
Well, so my junior year is when I kind of started to get into music a little bit. That's when I joined choir at my school or whatever. I was kind of peer pressured into that, but
come on, come sing. Everybody, all the cool kids are doing it.
Yeah.
You can quit anytime you want.
But then I started playing guitar right around that time, and then I think Anna, I know Anna was the one that kind of got me to just come to, like, a youth rehearsal for worship. Yeah. That's when we were doing it in the main building over there. Yeah. And one Sunday morning, she's just like, Andrew, you're coming to rehearsal, and I don't want to hear a no. So she's, like, really blunt about it. Yeah. And so, I was like, okay, whatever. And I just kind of played guitar in the background or whatever. Didn't really sing for a couple months or something like that. But then it all just kind of snowballed a little bit.
Yeah, the rest is history, as they say.
The rest is history.
And I want to get into that, actually. I want to get into your history of, like, what were the steps after high school and how you developed into, because, you were a guy with just some natural talent to sing back, when you were in high school. But you really leaned into that. You recognized, like, and maybe you didn't recognize it, but others recognized it. You have this gift, and then you pursued that gift and what God could do with it. And I think we're seeing the fruit now.
Yeah, it's definitely been a crazy journey for sure.
Yeah. Well, before we get too deep,
let's
get to know you a little bit.
Okay.
And I got some get to know you questions.
Yeah.
These are probably the hardest questions you'll ever be asked in your life.
I'm ready for them.
Okay. First question. Who do you like more, your mother-in-law or your father? No, I'm just kidding. Don't answer that. You were going to answer that. Stop that.
I don't know.
The first question is Marvel or Star Wars?
Oh, man. I think that I like probably Marvel more.
Okay.
Just because I love Star Wars, but I think that there's there's 11 or 12 Star Wars movies.
You're asking the wrong guy.
I know, and there's almost like 30 Marvel movies.
Okay.
And so like, I think there's just better Marvel, like a bigger amount of good Marvel movies than there are good Star Wars movies.
Favorite Marvel character?
Spider-Man or Iron Man. Probably Spider-Man.
And does that go for the movie too? That you call like one of the Spider-Mans your favorite movie?
No, my favorite
Marvel movie.
My favorite Marvel movie is Captain America: Civil War.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it might have been taken over by Spider-Man: No Way Home, but
is that the newest one?
The newest one that came out end of last year. Yeah, I cried in that movie twice. Spider-Man was, growing up, like Preston and I share the same thing. Is we just loved like Spider-Man growing up with the Green Goblin and everything from Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and stuff. It just growing up, that was kind of my favorite character. But I just love Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, and he was kind of the OG first Marvel movie, so probably Marvel.
There we go.
Yeah.
But you're like, which is your favorite? Like you're choosing your favorite kid.
Yeah. I do love Star Wars, but yeah.
Okay, then would you go lightsaber or Harry Potter wand?
Oh gosh, I think the concept of a lightsaber is cooler, but I think the functionality of a wand is better.
That's
like
really thought out.
I know. I love Harry Potter too. I think I'm the same way with Harry Potter movies and Star Wars. I think like the lore, I guess the fantasy of Star Wars and the characters and the story of it is really, really good and more original than Harry Potter. I think Harry Potter kind of stole that, but I like the movies better, the Harry Potter movies as a whole better than most of the Star Wars movies. I just think that they're better. And I think it'd be cool to have, be a wizard more than just a Jedi, I guess. But Jedi would be cool too. But probably functionality of a wand, coolness of a lightsaber. I know I'm all nerdy. Jonathan's like,
dude, jock, musician, nerd. Like you are all of those things.
Yeah.
Like
I try to be pretty versatile.
Oh, and versatile you are.
Yeah.
But it's cool to be a nerd.
I think it's cool. I think
it is. Like everybody, like what like, and I'm a lot older than you, but like when growing up, and it was like a nerd, it was like. But I think we're now seeing like.
Well, I feel like nerds are definitely the people who rule the world right now.
They're billionaires.
Yeah,
so call me a nerd. If that's what
Elon Musk is a nerd, dude. Like big time.
He's doing okay for himself.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good for it. He just bought Twitter, so
yeah.
We don't have to get into that. But
so, okay, then let's see. Okay, so we know you're an athlete, a nerd, and a musician. Mm-hmm. What about, do you cook? Are you a chef?
Well.
Or an artist, like in the kitchen?
I cook more than Justice does, but we really like to eat out.
Sure. Okay, best place to eat out in Salem?
In Salem? We really love Bessel Roadhouse.
Oh.
Just because they have I think we've talked about it. They have the best grilled chicken I've ever had. It's so good. And they have those rolls that they serve you before. They're really good. But we're also not like fancy food people. So
you're pretty simple when it comes
to I don't really know I know a lot of people talk about Rudy's, but I've never been there.
Yeah.
So
it's a whole different bracket.
Yeah, it's like a different vibe and I like the idea of being able to get dressed up and go to a nice restaurant, but then I'm like, I don't want to spend $50 a meal on something that I'm not really going to enjoy that much, sort of a thing.
You're like chicken strips everywhere you go, right?
I do love chicken strips. I try to mix it up, burger, chicken strips. I like when we go to barbecue places, I love barbecue, pulled pork sandwich, stuff like that. But pretty simple.
I'm a sucker for good barbecue too.
Yeah.
What about pizza?
In Salem or just in general?
Yeah, you down with pizza?
I love pizza.
Okay, where's the best pizza in Salem?
I think Wallery's is the best. The ranch is really good, and they have those little pepperonis that get the puddle of grease in them.
Just a good old grease puddle.
Yeah, but
honestly, I would say Salem doesn't have great pizza.
No, it's not the best.
And I'm not trying to
Basil and board's okay.
Knock.
But it's kind of foo-foo-y.
Foo-foo. We got no time for foo-foo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this place in Silverton. It's not Salem, but it's called Home Place. They've got really good pizza.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a restaurant?
Yeah, they have like everything that you could ever think of, but like they have like a pizza section of their restaurant, and it's good.
Home Place?
Home Place.
Yeah, they're one of our sponsors, by the way. Shout out. Thank you for your okay, you're worship leader, so how would you, I guess define would be the word, like if you define like what is worship? When you speak of worship, what is encompassing? How would you define that?
Well, I think that people just associate it with music just off the bat, but I think that it definitely can be, it is a lot more than that. But just to define it, I think it's like a different way of just like bringing glory to God in whatever form or fashion like you are drawn to, maybe. Yeah. Like for me, obviously it's music, but for some people it could just be, like I heard somebody say in our 5 for 5 last week that like one way that they worship and connect with God is through poetry or whatever like that. Like I don't think it's that subject to just music. Yeah. I think that that's what it has been subject to, which isn't a bad thing because music is an incredible gift from God that I think is just
like an expression.
Yeah, and I think it's something that everybody can connect to, whether or not you're a musician or not. You probably like some form of music or you can appreciate, like somebody being able to sing or play guitar or whatever. Like you can appreciate that and connect to that in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
But there are other things like poetry or like whatever people want to. Yeah. Owning a business, I mean, like that might not be like seen as worship, but it's a ministry in itself, and like you can worship God with the way you run your business or whatever. So I think that if I could break it down into like one sentence, just defining worship as a way to connect and bring glory to God in kind of whatever you do.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. There's actually a verse, like it's one of my like life verse, if you will, Colossians 3. It says, whatever you do or say, do it as a representative of the Lord Jesus Christ, all the while giving thanks to God the Father. Yeah. I'm like, that's great. Whatever I do, I want to represent Jesus and I want to thank the Lord. I think that's like those two things of like you mentioned, you said it's a way to connect and glorify. Yeah. It's like incredible. Like whatever I do, I'm going to connect and represent Jesus, and I'm gonna thank the Lord while doing it. Yeah. But at the same time, like I like we have an agreement that like worship is so much more than music. But I'm so grateful for like the songs and the lyrics and the worship that like God would bless us with that to connect and to glorify Him. Because there are times when I'm like, I don't even know how to express it is what I want to say to the Lord, or like sometimes it even brings like the way that. No, obviously I'm not a musician, but like the way that like what we call it, a progression, a chord progression, and the way that like all the music is.
Well, it's
comes
it's like
together.
I kind of brought this up in my 5 for 5 last week or whatever.
Which for those that are unaware, we did just 2 weeks ago on a Sunday night. We had heard from 5 different speakers, 5 minutes each, and Andrew was one of those. Yeah,
I think that. I brought up some stuff. This kind of brings out my nerd side again, just about like astronomy or whatever, and just like the universe really cool. And how God is like throughout, like just His examples and just He is throughout the universe, like showing His signs of greatness with how big the universe is, how many. I use the example of how many stars there were. It's just insane. But
what was that number again?
7 septillion or something like that. It's like 23 zeros. Yeah. That's how many are in just the observable universe. Yeah. But we don't have to get into that. But the reason that I brought that up was because I think that God, like sometimes a lot of people can like disconnect science from God. And I think that God, like you can use science to just basically like show examples of who God is and like what He's done. Like, music is like music is a science. Like just the fact that you
that's cool.
Like can put different sounds together and it makes like a certain chord or it's music is like another language and I don't understand it entirely, but it's insane like that you can, like you were just saying, like chord progressions, some work better than others and like it's pretty crazy. But
well, I think 'cause I've been been in this church and ministry for 12 years ish, and like every time we do like a camp or retreat, even have like, you know, these nights, like youth group, whatever, you know, there's usually a lot of, let's say credit or like worship is always a highlight.
Yeah.
You know, for people and it's such a unique way to connect with God or for God to reveal himself. And I think a lot of that does have to do with like the role that music plays on our emotions and allows us to feel, you know, I've heard of, or I've seen like videos and things where they cut a soundtrack from a movie and it's just a completely different movie. The movie doesn't have a feel like the same feel, and like you can use it to articulate suspense and fear, or like, you know, lightheartedness and fun. And some people I think would maybe, I've heard people reference that as like manipulation, and I think there is a fine line on that.
Yeah.
But I would say that like God uses that, and God's going to use our emotions to connect with him and to reveal more about himself. However, we need to be careful. I don't think our faith and our worship should be dependent on our emotions, because I've definitely been in times where I'm like, I don't feel like worshiping, you know? And
I feel that.
Yeah, like he's going to use our emotions to reveal himself, but like the whole listen to your heart. If I listen to my heart, I'd be I'd be pretty lost right now.
Yeah.
My heart
life would be
deceiving.
pretty wrecked.
Yeah.
If you're only basing it off of emotions, and emotions are healthy for sure.
Totally.
But there's definitely a fine line where you're kind of like, you have to kind of, I don't know. It's just like emotions can be deceiving sometimes. They're just like anything. There's pros and cons to them, and God definitely uses them, but so does the enemy.
The world,
yeah. Like
live, laugh, love, or whatever.
Like
feel.
Yeah.
What about, okay, do you have a worship song? I think maybe this is a double question. Like, do you have a worship song that like is one of your favorites to lead and play? And then do you have a different, or maybe it's the same, like that's just like, this song is would be like a favorite worship song of mine, whether it's because it represents an experience you had, or it's just like a fun song or whatever?
To lead, I've led a lot of different songs. I think to lead, well, that What I See song that we did a couple weeks ago, that song is really fun.
That was
to lead.
Easter.
On Easter, yeah. But I think I've told this to a couple people, but like I will never get tired of leading Raise a Hallelujah. Oh, I just think that song is so much fun.
Is that Elevation?
No, it's a Bethel song.
Okay.
It's just fun because you're co-leading it with a female, and you just get to like, you know, just be able to, I don't know, it's just a fun, it's not upbeat necessarily, but it's just like very like high praise, like just like celebratory kind of a song. And I really love leading that one. But my favorite worship song ever just to listen to, is that what the question was?
Like, because I would imagine that as the worship leader, you're leading, it's not about you, you're leading other people. Yeah. And so you're going to pick songs that you know, like, are maybe situational, or, you know, maybe connect well with the sermon teaching, whatever. But then there's also like, I don't know, you've had your moments too, and worship like this is impactful. Or
I think that when I'm listening, one of my favorite songs ever, and I enjoy leading it, it's not my favorite to lead, but I really loved, for the longest time, my favorite worship song was With Everything by Hillsong.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for like just woes in songs. I don't know why. It just like gets me going. And then Rattle is probably one of my, I enjoy leading that song. It's not my favorite to lead, which I'm kind of surprised with, but it's also pretty hard on my voice. But just that song for me, I feel like kind of started, and I feel like there's this kind of shift in what worship music, like the vibe of what worship music can give off. And I feel like that song kind of started the shift of like worship can sound different than what the norm says it is. Yeah, sure. Sort of a thing. Like it's pretty hard. It's pretty like almost rock metal sort of a vibe. And I love that music anyways. Yeah, but like just to see it in a worship song, and just the words of that song, you know.
So like, it's called Rattle.
It's
by Elevation. People want to look it up on Spotify or Apple Music.
It's probably my favorite.
So you, after graduating high school, you ended up going to Elevation. Yeah. And is it an internship, a school, or were you just a part of the church?
So it was at the time, it was like a pretty new program that they had just kind of released. It was called Elevation School of Worship, and it was eventually, like, I think the next year, it was turned into just like a different kind of internship program. But when I went there, it was like a totally different, separate, like almost school.
Okay.
And we had classes like Bible classes and music theology classes, and we did different like band rehearsals and things like that. We had like a group of 27, I think it was, people in the school, and so we were part of the church. We got to do some cool things, like go and be a part of like the choir and stuff for a couple recordings and whatnot.
Yeah,
but
cool.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily like an intern, but it was we were still part of the church, and kind of.
That was a year.
I was there for like 11 months or 10 months. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
10 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it there.
And
it's
that
amazing.
helped kind of shape and.
Yeah, I definitely. That was just a season for me where it was like I had a lot of personal stuff going on, and the reason that I went there wasn't necessarily because of what was there. It was because of what I was trying to get away from here.
Oh, sure.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Because I moved there from here right after high school, and I was like, I just need a flipping break, you know, sort of a thing. And so I just went there, and it was the best decision. Like, I mean, I grew as a worship leader, but I also grew kind of as an adult. Yeah. I started to have to kind of provide for myself, and kind of, you know, when you're growing up, your parents are kind of your emotional, like,
accountability.
Yeah. And like they've got your back, and when you're out like on your own, I mean, I was almost 3,000 miles away with no family or anything. It was kind of like, I've got to figure this out, sort of a thing. And that was a good place for God to kind of work a lot.
It's very similar to me. Yeah. Like when I went to Bible college, I didn't go because I wanted to be a pastor. I had this passion for like, you know, understanding the Bible more clear. I wasn't like running from the Bible. I wasn't running from faith, but like, yeah, it's funny how God used that. I just wanted to go to LA. I just wanted to get out of my small town, and you know how God used that and everything. So okay, you have a worship song you wrote and recorded, and it's called No Boundaries. And so after you're done listening to Rattle, you can go. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, and No Boundaries by Andrew Berry. Andrew Berry is one of our sponsors. We want to thank you for your support. And I want to know about the songwriting process, because you're not
so
I'm going to be dead honest with you. I knew I was going to like the song because I liked you. Yeah. And so it was, regardless, the song could have been trash, but I'm like, oh my goodness, I love Andrew and so amazing. I'm so proud of you. Yeah. It's genuinely a very good worship song. Yeah. It's like over 7 minutes long. You know, what's that process? Like, how do you come up with, did God give you these lyrics? You're like, oh, I like this. I wonder if I can turn this into a song. Or was it like, music that you had kind of in your head? What's that process like?
I think that for me, well, I think songwriting is almost similar to like poetry, like we were talking about. It's like, I don't think everybody has a set way to do it. There are ways that are like more helpful than others, but for me, like, I had struggled for a long time. Like, I had wanted to songwrite and wanted to produce music and do all these things, but I had never been able to just kind of be successful with it or break through. And that's when that's kind of where the words came from, is a little bit like the chorus is, so I lay all my burdens at your feet, surrender every part of me. And I was just like, I need to stop trying so hard, sort of a thing, like, because one of the reasons that I'm not able to write a worship song, and that's what it is I don't care to write secular music necessarily. I don't have anything against secular music.
Sure. No, you're a Harry Potter fan.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. But it was like, I want to write, and I feel like I'm called to write worship music. Wow. And I think the point of where I kind of broke through is like, I'm not relying on the one I'm writing about at all, you know, sort of a thing. Like, and so at that point I was like, and I hadn't really been leaning on any scripture either, which is a big thing. So I can only really talk from writing about worship music, not really secular music because I've never done it.
Yeah, sure.
But like,
well, I haven't either.
Yeah.
I have a few ideas though. We'll see. We'll come up with something.
Okay, we'll get together.
Yeah.
Okay. But I was just like at that point where I was like, I need to lean into God's word if I'm going to write about who God is and what he does and glorifying him. Yeah. So I came up with like the chorus and some of the verses and then a bridge and took it to my friend Drew, who lives in Alabama. I went down there for a week and we kind of rewrote some of we did rewrite some of the lyrics, but we did some changes to like the melody of the song, the way it was sung. And we just kind of, during that week, we wrote, we finished writing the lyrics. I recorded all the vocals. And then after I recorded the vocals, he just put an acoustic guitar behind it and then sent me that track. And then I was like, dude, I'm going to leave it in your hands because he's way more skilled with like producing or whatever with those kinds of programs than I am. So I was just like, I'm going to leave it in your hands. And it took a long time. Like it took 1.5 years until we released it. Mm-hmm. But most of it was because, so I went in October. Then the next time I saw him was in March. And March was my wedding. He came and officiated my wedding. And he like surprised me with like an almost finished product. Yeah.
Is that the one you played for me when we were driving up to like Portland area?
That was like the first version of that. There were some things that changed, but and he kind of fixed some things. But it released in January of that next year. So from March is when the first time I heard it with like all the instruments and things. And then all the way to that next January is when it finally released. Yeah. So there are a lot of different changes that happened, and I haven't been good about like, I don't know if this is the right word, but marketing it. That's a whole nother game that I'm not really I don't have a lot of knowledge about. Yeah. But the process of writing, that was kind of the process of just like writing and singing and producing it and everything. But I think what helped me break through was, just finally being like, why am I trying so hard and not, it's not bad to try hard. It's bad to bet only on yourself in that kind of situation. Because I wasn't relying on God to give me any words or any phrases or whatever. And so,
like you were trying to make it perfect.
Yeah. And I was trying to make it like me, like I did this, like I'm the one that wrote this, and then I was like, shoot, like, what am I doing? This is supposed
I'm a conduit.
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah.
Let me glorify you. And that's incredible.
Yeah.
So Austin, why don't you just sing some of it for us right now? I can give you. Ooh, go ahead. Ooh.
So I lay all my
Yeah.
Burdens at your feet.
Yeah, we don't even look it up on Spotify. Just listen to this over and over again. On the real, though, it is a really good worship song. Just even on the music side of it, like how it sounds, but also just the lyrics are really powerful. What God can do in our life, and there are no boundaries with Him. Yeah. So yeah, I'm proud of you. Do you have any upcoming anything in the works you're working on?
I did. One of our keys players at our church has kind of a studio at his house, and I went a couple weeks ago, and we wrote basically an entire song. But I'm supposed to go next week to kind of finish it up and maybe record a couple things, but just been a busy season, kind of with my new role here at the church and stuff. So just trying to kind of finally getting kind of settled in, and hopefully going to write a lot more in this next upcoming season. And so
you are busy. Not to mention, you're working 2 jobs right now. Obviously, the role you play here at the church, but then also you're a gymnastics coach, because I know it's a huge passion of yours is gymnastics.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate gymnastics, but no, it's I actually really have gained a lot of appreciation for that sport.
Dude, they're crazy in a good way. Like,
it's
talk about athletes.
I mean, they're basically like, there's a chance that they could die on whatever they're doing. Like, it's crazy, because like you do a I don't know if I want to get too crazy with like terminology or whatever, but like you do like a round off back handspring back tuck, like you can land on your neck.
Yeah,
and like
no, that combo is.
Yeah. Can you show that to us?
I can do it. I don't know if we have the space. Yeah, we'll get to it later.
Okay. Okay.
What's your? Do you participate in any? We just got Q from our intern. Is killing it with the water intern. We had a water intern. This is our second intern. He keeps track of our time and says we're going a little long. We lost a video.
How many interns do you have?
It's hard to keep track, honestly. They're just interns. I don't even know their names. So
intern 1 and intern 2, both of them are Carson.
Do you dabble? Do you gymnastics at all? Do you flip?
I can do like a punch front, which is just a front flip. And then I did this thing that's called
off a trampoline or just in the air. You just do it like off
just off like the spring floor. It's like the floor that they do all of their tumbling and stuff on. I can do like a front flip.
I didn't know that. That's because you're tall too. I feel like it's harder for tall people.
It's definitely an advantage to be short in gymnastics. But I did this thing called a kip, which is on like the bars, and it's basically like you like swing your feet underneath, and then you like bring your toes to the bar, and you like muscle up onto the bar to where your hips are above it, and you're just like pushing down on the bar. It's a really hard skill, and I was surprised that I did. I don't do it very well. It doesn't look pretty or anything, but I did it.
Just keep up the practicing your kips, dude.
Yeah,
practice this kip
practice.
Kip move. Favorite sport to play right now?
Oh gosh. I love playing basketball, but like the last month I've just been itching to play golf.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about that all the time.
It's tough to be a golfer in Oregon, man. You're limited.
It's really tough, and it's also tough when you don't make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's an expensive sport.
It is an expensive sport. But I think that's a hard question. Do you like what's your favorite sport to watch in person on TV and then play? Watch in person.
For me, currently in my life, my favorite sport to play would be golf.
Yeah.
Yeah. First season, it was volleyball.
I love volleyball.
Competitive and playing volleyball. To watch right now, that's tough because I really love college football. It's hard to watch the NFL on Sundays. A very, very busy day. Yeah. I love watching college football. In person, I love going to baseball games.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I love playing basketball and golf, but I love in-person baseball games. I think just like the culture and whatnot is really fun.
Same.
And then I don't really like college football. People love it.
Yeah.
Like Hayden loves college football, but I think I like the NFL. I've just always grown up liking that more than anything. But on TV, I think the NFL. Like I get depressed after the Super Bowl's over. I'm like, there's no football.
What are you, a Niners fan?
No, Cowboys.
Oh yeah, Cowboys. I knew
my mom is a Niners fan.
America's team.
Yeah.
All right.
Trying to be.
Yeah. Dude, thanks so much for being here, Andrew. Thanks for just always continuing to lead our church well. But the work that you do in youth ministry is all volunteer, and it's so appreciated. And I know the students really value your input and the way you've led worship. The main church, but it's just a direct influence into youth ministry, and just appreciate you and Justice a ton.
Yeah. Well, we love it here, and we love you, and I think everybody who's watching would say that like you are a blessing to them in this church and this community, and we really just appreciate you and your everything you do. I mean, you've been here for a long time, and so.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.